Is it just me, or are you the same way? When you watch a movie, do you sometimes get distracted by little things that don't matter to the plot, but that add something to the viewing experience on a level beyond following the story as it unfolds? These things might seem trivial to most people or go completely unnoticed unless pointed out by someone, someone like me, someone who might make movie watching annoying. That's what I've been told a few times. But is it just me, or are you the same way? Do you notice the little things? As you watch this video, if you have any examples of little things you spotted in a film that made you go, things that didn't take you out of the movie, but just things that popped out to you, let me know in the comments. While you're at it, if you wind up enjoying this video, leave a like to let me know and consider subscribing to my channel. Everything helps. For example, you know Jaws, right? Big shark eats people. We're gonna need a bigger boat. That film? Well, there's a scene where Brody goes to the beach because a body has been found. He and another person run towards the sound of a whistle being blown. But in the sand, you can see some sets of tracks where two people have already been running. It looks like two sets of two people's footsteps ending at the same place, a spot just beyond where the scene cuts. Basically, this was probably the third take of this shot. The actors started running, the camera panning to follow them, and Spielberg yelled, "Cut!" and they reset. But no one raked the sand. That's the kind of thing I tend to notice. It doesn't add anything to the plot, it doesn't distract me from enjoying the film, but I see it, and part of my brain rolls it around. Another thing I noticed was in The Exorcist. This was after I started living in Japan and had learned some Japanese words. On a rewatch of the film, in the scene where the priest is listening to the recording of the possessed girl speaking backwards, there's a banner in the church basement, barely on screen. It says, "Tasukete." How many times had I seen that part of the movie before? I can't even imagine. But now that I knew some Japanese, I understood that it was a Japanese word that means help or help me. The director and set designers thought it would be nice to include this as part of the set dressing. But who outside of a Japanese audience would have gotten that message, especially back in the 1970s when the film was only available in theaters or the odd televised broadcast? A banner that says, "Help me," in Japanese. In Rogue One, a Star Wars story, we see our heroes approaching Jeddah in their spaceship, flying above the desert and looking for a place to land. Something that stood out to me was a shot of the ship's shadow playing across the dunes. Why did it stand out to me? Because there was no ship. There was no shadow. There were no dunes. This was a special effects shot, and someone along the way thought it would be good to include this, just for the ambiance, the atmosphere. I really appreciated that little inclusion. It added some realism to the film. Something we've all done ourselves, watch the scenery pass by through a car window, watch the ground slipping past from the window seat of an airplane. Easy to miss, not flashy, but to me, it was awesome to see this in the film. In 2001, A Space Odyssey, the spaceship Discovery has a spinning part that simulates gravity so the crew can exercise and have some normalcy during their long voyage to Jupiter. The rest of the ship has no gravity. We see this in a couple of scenes as members of the crew move from section to section, but it is never mentioned overtly. Yet, in the scene where our heroes try to have a secret conversation in a pod, not knowing that the malfunctioning computer can read their lips, look how they walk to the pod. They take each step carefully, deliberately, planting one foot fully before lifting and moving the other, because they have magnetic boots and are sticking to the floor. There's no gravity in the pod bay. What else could it be? No mention of this is made in the film, but it is obvious to me, at least I think that's what's happening. I appreciate the realism, even more so because it was not specifically referenced by any of the characters. These are the kind of things I notice. Trivial? Definitely. Would it annoy you if someone pointed them out? Be honest. I would never do it in a theater, of course, but at home, on streaming, I have been known to do it. Bad Jason. Here are some more. In Finding Nemo, after the little guy has been abducted and his father starts chasing the boat that took him, our panicked daddy fish surfaces and shouts his son's name, to no effect as he helplessly watches the boat disappear into the distance. What I noticed was this little moment when, after using up his breath, the daddy fish has to duck underwater and quickly gulp another breath so he can surface to shout some more, because fish breathe underwater. He has to duck back under to get another breath. So simple, so accurate, so appreciated by me anyway. In Captain America Civil War, during the opening fight scene, we see Cap running towards a terrorist on top of a van. The bad guy hasn't seen our hero yet, but Cap raises his shield anyway, just in case he gets fired upon. Then he executes a great drop kick, the bad guy never having gotten a shot off. This addition to the choreography, this by-the-numbers trained soldier type of move, didn't have to be there. We didn't see the shield in action here, deflecting bullets or protecting Cap, yet it was included just for the realism, just to contribute to the authenticity and to maintain Cap's character. Much appreciated, trivial as it might be. Also in this movie, Clint tries to take Wanda away from her house arrest, and Vision intervenes. Wanda decided to go with Clint and takes Vision out of the equation. How? By sending him plummeting through several sublevels of the Avengers compound and deep into the very Earth itself. Again, how? Her powers, while perhaps innate in some way, were awakened by the scepter which housed the Mind Stone. The Vision carries the Mind Stone in his forehead. It really looks like Wanda hijacks this stone and uses one of the Vision's own powers, namely the ability to control his density, and at first makes him immaterial so Clint can escape his grasp, and then makes him super dense and heavy so that the floors and ground below him cannot support his body weight. She doesn't just push him down. She uses his own stone and his own powers to do it. That's how I see it, anyway, and it is appreciated. One last thing, also from the MCU. You know how in Thor Ragnarok, Hela stopped Mjolnir in midair and shattered it? Thor was stunned. Well, in the mural on the ceiling of Odin's throne, the mural under the mural depicting how benevolent Odin was, we see images of a more warlike Odin. At his side is his daughter Hela, and in one quick shot, we see Hela wielding, you guessed it, Mjolnir. The hammer was a gift to his daughter first. Thor got a hand-me-down. Blink and you'll miss it. My friend did, after we both watched Ragnarok once. He watched it again and saw what I saw. Mind blown. So, I ask again, is it just me, or are you the same way? Do you pick up on little things when you watch movies, trivial things, things that might reveal a little of the filmmaking craft, things that add to the ambiance or world building in subtle ways, things that are not in your face and easy to miss? If so, let me know stuff you have noticed in films so I can seek them out for my own pleasure too. Just hop in the comments section. Any comments at all are welcome. And now that you've made it this far, leave a like to let me know. And please consider subscribing to my channel for more videos on entertainment topics of all kinds. Thanks for watching. See you next time.